I don't mean to alarm you, but Sony has developed a vlogging camera with a 97mm lens on the wide end. I used math to figure that one out. Let's get into it.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So the Sony V1, how y'all doing? Just before we get into the video, fantastic. We're on the Canon EOS R with the 35mm Tony 1.8. This is the lens that could get me into the system. It's the only lens that makes sense for the system. Look at the tone. Look at it. Let's just watch it. Is there focus breathing? Will this get closer? That was as scientific as it gets. Look, my finger's moving. It does a little. Okay, let's just get onto it. So first, let me say I'm not bashing Sony for this. I actually really like this camera and I'm debating buying it. Like, it's that good. Just opens automatically. It's good. Like, the stabilization isn't very good, but it kind of gives you this shaky, real-world feel to it. It's much less irritating than the Panasonic warpy IBIS waving at you. If you're looking for a camera to make YouTube videos, like, you can't do much worse. Much better. Oh boy, that's a Freudian slip. That's on me. I've been testing it out, and the only real deal breaker is the fact that you do have to unscrew your tripod. But if you do use the Nebula, it's not one of these clamps that you need a screwdriver for. It's like a couple twists. It's not like 4 twists max. So it's somewhat doable. Battery life, not the best. That's a deal breaker. Doesn't break my deal. And thank you, of course, to Camera Canada for sending me the camera to test. That's hot. So my first suspicions arose when I saw the first footage from the camera, and it's all this. Giant head. And I was like, that's a tight shot. That's a vlogging lens, is it? And so you see that the normal RX100s have a much actually wider lens. Not much. I lied. The Sony RX100 Mark V has a 8.8mm lens on the wide end. This is 9.4 with the 2.7 times crop. That lens is a 23.76 full frame equivalent. This, I should have had that pulled up. 25.38. That's on the wide end. 1080p, no crops, no stabilization. Things are about to get real. Just sit your children down for this one. Get them some hot cocoa. They're gonna need it. So they designed this lens for vlogging. It's tighter than even their regular one. That's the first weird thing. Second thing, that's in 1080p. When you use 4K, there's actually a 1.094 crop. The way I figured this out, and let me know if there's any flaws in my method, but I filmed 2 clips right here on a tripod, same exact position, one in 1080p, 24p, and then 4K 24p. And there was a slight crop, and so in Premiere Pro, I took the 1080p footage, zoomed it into 150 times, and then I tried to line up that pot so it's exact, and that took 1.094. On Premiere Pro, 100% is regular, and then zooming in to 109.4 gave us the crop, so that's 9.4% basically. It couldn't be 10%, could it? Make things easy? No, it couldn't. So if you want to film in 4K with no stabilization, which is basically unusable, you now have a 27.77 to 75.91mm lens. So almost 28 mils on the wide end, not even stabilized yet. Wait till we stabilize. I did the same thing. I filmed here in 4K and then I turned on stabilization. I zoomed in to match it. That was an extra 18.5%. These numbers actually differ from Gerald Undun's numbers. He's never accurate. I always am. I do the homework here. He's rarely right. Not one video of his is accurate. Everything's been a lie to this point. He actually works for FedEx, and I'm sorry to be the one to tell you, you just can't rely on that guy. There's probably a lot of flaws in my method, so let's not get too cocky here. But if we combine these, 9.4% plus 18.5%, we get 27.9%. Now we do the math. If you want to film in 4K with active stabilization, the digital, we're now looking at a 32.87 to 88.75 millimeter lens. That's 33 mils basically on the wide end, designed for vlogging. A 33 mil lens. This is a 35. It's now in my hand. This is what Sony wanted for your life. They could have it. I know my acne. But how could Sony have possibly known that this would be too tight? There was just no information available online.
A lot of the hardcore vloggers looking at this camera have already been saying 24mm wide angle on this lens isn't wide enough, we want wider, this digital stabilization is going to be a problem.
So when in 4K with active stabilization, this equates to a total additional crop of about 1.275 times by my testing, making your 24mm equivalent lens look more like a 30mm lens, which of course brings up the question of vlogging. Now how wide you like your field of view is up to you, but I know for many vloggers out there, 30mm would be too tight. In fact, I know some vloggers that think 24mm is too tight.
Now 24mm equivalent is not going to be wide enough for some vloggers, particularly with the crops that you get when you apply additional digital movie stabilization.
I don't think the 24mm is wide enough. Yes, I've got big poofy hair and that covers most of the screen or most of the frame when I'm shooting at 24mm, but even with regular people who have short arms or something and they're holding it like this and their face is in there, you're not getting much of the scene.
You know, I think the main reason why I'm not switching to this as my full-time vlog camera is the fact that I can't really get much wider than this. Like right now I'm kind of in a medium close-up. It'd be nice to get into a full-on medium shot like I can with my full frame. But if they made a version just like this but had an ultra-wide angle lens, oh man, I might be tempted.
They just need a version of this that has a 16 to 35 lens instead of a 24 to 70 lens.
Oh, there was a lot. How come I never look at my background and see that this is just awkwardly placed on an angle, completely just weird? Damn flippy screens. What's there? Is that further back? Is it this? No. That's what you're seeing. Is this good content? It's not. So even if they had a 16mm equivalent lens, that would still be a 20, which is completely usable. So I think they have to go that wide. People asking for a 20mm lens? Still gonna give us 25.5 mils. I'm still debating buying it just for that 480 frames per second mode. I don't know though. I don't know if I can reward Sony for their designed for vlogging a 33mm lens. The Mark II, coming out in 2 years. It should be a decent camera with the improved battery life and the tripod mount moved off to the side. Wider lens. Custom modes that you can switch. Boom, one button, just like the GoPro, which for some reason looks like absolute trash now. Every time I use it. I made it the other day, it looked phenomenal. I was like, holy crap, look at that thing. I should vlog with that. And then every time I compare it to the Sony, it looks like crap. So let's compare it now with that good looking mode versus the Sony. Now we gotta fight, don't we? Not really, but still, it's a fight. So far in my testing, this thing holds itself up against the Olympus EM1 III, which is like 5 times the price. Maybe, don't quote me on that. I'm gonna compare it now to an APS-C, a secret camera. Next video, you can actually see it. That thing that I touched. Guesses? Don't guess down below, I swear to God, I'll delete your comment fast. Alright, we're done. What do you think of that? 33mm for vlogging? Maybe it wasn't designed for vlogging. Still, it works. A little wider would be nice. I'm gonna leave. Subscribe for more videos and I'll see you in the next one.